Okay, folks, so when I say show me your moves, I want you to do one of your favorite dance moves standing in place. Okay? So show me your moves. Show me your moves. Show me your moves. How's it going, folks? It's Pat here from Asphalt Green's Recess Enhancement Program, here with another instructional video for you, this time for our game, Show Me Your Moves. Now, before we hop into an overview of the game, we of course want to start in the way we always do, and that is with the safety check. So, before we start any game and after we finish any game, we always want to make sure that we and our students are washing our hands for at least 20 seconds with soap and water. We also want to make sure that at no point during the game, before the game, or after the game, are students' hands going anywhere near their faces. We also want to make sure that if anybody has to cough or sneeze, that they're just doing my favorite dance move and dabbing into their elbow, okay? So they can cough or sneeze into their elbow. And they'll probably do it better than me as well. We also want to make sure that at every point during the game, and for that matter, again, throughout the entire day, everyone is maintaining a proper social distance. So everyone is at least 6 feet apart from one another, okay? So if you feel comfortable after doing your safety check and you feel like you're ready to go, just give me 2 claps and let's get started on our overview of Show Me Your Moves. So it seems like everyone is ready to go, so let's dive into Show Me Your Moves. What's the name of the game? Oh wow, those are some great moves. Those are some fantastic moves, but why are you... Oh, it's because the name of the game is, that's right, Show Me Your Moves. Now folks, this is a great game to play with students in kindergarten up through 5th grade, or students within that age range or ability level range. It's a game that can be played in any space that will allow students to move from one side of a play area to another side of the play area while maintaining proper social distance, okay? So if you have a big enough hallway that allows students to move as a group while maintaining proper social distance, perfect, you can play it in that hallway. If you have an auditorium that allows you to do the same, sounds great. But this is a game that might be best played out on a playground or in a gymnasium, okay? In regards to safety, so long as you've selected an appropriate space, students will be able to maintain proper social distance, okay? So it'll be safe on that front. In regards to equipment safety, students won't need to share any equipment during this game because no equipment's really needed. The only equipment that you might use would be cones or tape to mark a starting line or a finish line, okay? So this game is super, super safe. And I always like to think that fun is a byproduct of safety. So this game is also super, super fun. Add on to that it's a rep game and it's like double fun, okay? But let's get into the details so I can show you how fun it actually is. And as we always like to do when we're discussing the details of a game, we like to rep it out. So let's start with R, ready, and talk about how we can get ready for Show Me Your Moves. So the first thing that you're going to want to do in order to get ready for Show Me Your Moves is map out your play area and designate your boundaries. As mentioned, this is a game that requires students to move from one side of a play area to another side of a play area, and they're going to be moving back and forth between those two areas, okay? So you want to make sure that you find a space to play in that allows students to do all sorts of wacky movements freely between those two areas while still maintaining at least 6 feet of distance between other students. Once you found that area though, you can visually mark off where you want your starting line to be, where you want your finish line to be, and where you want any other boundaries to be, okay? Once you've done that, and you visually marked all those boundaries off, you can then do a safety sweep of the area, and you can remove any items that might pose a safety risk to students, and you can have a think about how you're going to work around any items that maybe can't be moved. Once you finish your safety sweep, you can take any cones or tape that you might have and use those to mark off your starting line, your finish line, and any of your boundaries. You won't need any other equipment other than equipment used to mark off boundaries in this game, okay? So once you feel satisfied with your equipment arrangement, you feel like the play area is, very clear, that it's super safe, and that you feel like it's ready to go, well, then you can use the attention grabber that I use at the beginning of this video to have students gather up on the starting line while standing 6 feet apart from one another, okay? So you can say to all of the students, if you hear my voice, I need you to show me your best dance move when I say, show me your moves. Okay, so show me your moves. Show me your moves. Show me your moves. And okay, how about you show me your moves while heading over to the starting line. And when you get there, make sure that you're standing 6 feet apart from one another. Okay, so show me your moves. After your students have showed you their moves and they've gathered up at the starting line, standing 6 feet apart from one another, then you're ready to move into the E portion of the rep model, which is explain. Now, when explaining a game, you always want to make sure you're using a loud and clear voice so all students can hear and understand you. You also want to make sure that while you're delivering instructions, you're asking students specific questions about those instructions. That way you can check for understanding in the group and you can clarify anything that maybe you weren't super clear on. Some questions we would suggest you ask are, well, where are we moving to? And who is going to give you the movements? Those questions will make a little bit more sense as we go through the instructions. So I'm going to talk through them right now in this video. And how about you follow along on your PDF copy that you've either printed out or found on our website. So the first rule of show me your moves is something you'll already have students doing. And that is line up standing 6 feet apart from one another on the starting line. Once students have gathered up though, you can explain to them that you are the judge and they will be showing you their moves. You can explain to them that you will be giving them a certain type of movement to do. Could be running, could be jogging, could be skipping, could be moonwalking, could be anything, right? And that they're going to have to do that movement from the starting line to the finish line and then back to the starting line again, okay? And you can explain to them that the command you're going to give them after you've given them the movement is show me your moves. So once they hear that, that's when they have to move. Now, you have to tell the students that they're going to have to listen up because you might change the movement while they're moving, okay? And if they miss a movement, well, then they're going to have to freeze and do some type of activity, whether that's 5 jumping jacks, 10 jumping jacks, 5 seconds of silly dancing, 10 burpees, whatever it might be. So they need to listen up and show you their moves. So that's an explanation of the rules for show me your moves. So how about now we move into the final portion of the rep model, play, and talk a little bit about how we can play the game so students are abiding by those rules and how we can play the game so as to keep it interesting and engaging for them. Before we can do that though, can you show me your moves? Show me your moves, and show me your moves while gathering up around me and standing 6 feet apart from one another, all right? Brilliant stuff. Thank you folks for showing me your moves. So, a few things that we would suggest while playing show me your moves are 1, to remind students to always maintain 6 feet of distance between each other. Students can get really caught up doing the fun and wacky movements that you might have them do, and they might forget what's going on around them every now and again. So it's always helpful to remind them. You also want to remind them that there are consequences for making a mistake, right? And whatever the judge says, right? If the judge says you made a mistake, well, the judge's word is final, and you'll have to do some form of an activity, right? Whether that's jumping jacks, silly dancing, squats, whatever it might be, okay? If any conflicts arise with that though, the judge and the student can just play rock, paper, scissors and settle it super quickly and move on with the game. Now, if students have grown super comfortable with the game, right, and they're like, we want something more, well, you can have it so that the judge, rather than both telling them and showing the movements, right? So maybe the judge has just been saying, I want you to run, right? Show me your moves. And then judge is doing that while saying run, okay? You can have it so that the judge is just showing the movement rather than saying the movement, okay? So say it was crab walking, right? The judge would just do this. And then the students will have to crab walk from the starting line to the finish line and back to the starting line, right? But the judge can then mix it up in the middle of that, right? So they might start off going like this, and then they can change it to skipping. And everyone will need to pay attention to what the judge is doing. Otherwise, they'll get caught making a mistake, right? And have to do some form of an activity. Now, if students have caught on to that though, and they're like, we want even more, well, then you can have it so that whenever the judge gives a movement, right? So again, could be running, could be skipping. Well, now all of the students are going to have to do that movement backwards, okay? And if anybody makes a mistake at any point, well, again, some activity will need to be completed, okay? So that brings us to the end of our tip list, which means that we're at the end of the rep model and therefore the end of this video. Now, before we head off, can you show me your moves? Show me your moves and show me your moves while gathering up around me, standing 6 feet apart from one another. Brilliant stuff. Thank you, folks, for showing me your moves yet again. And I just want to say thank you, both for dealing with my dabs and for following along. I hope you found this video helpful. I hope you have a lot of fun playing Show Me Your Moves with your students. And I'd ask that you just stay tuned for more instructional videos from us over here at Asphalt Green, okay? We'll catch you the next time.